So let's just start this video with Myth dancing to a TSM victory. In today's video, we're going to be talking about TSM. Are they still the giants of Valorant in North America? A lot of people say Envy is, a lot of people are saying Sentinels are the best, and people are rooting for 100 Thieves in that roster. But I still think TSM has it. They have the experience, they have the potency of Wardell, Sabrosa, and Drone back on the Phoenix. So we look at TSM's latest results. They beat FaZe Clan 3-1 during the grand finals of the UMG closed qualifiers. They beat Immortals 2-1. They beat Moon Raccoons 2-0. They beat FaZe Clan again. They beat NRG Esports 2-1. So they basically went flawless during those qualifiers, and it shows TSM's determination to prove to everyone that they're the best. And that's something we're going to talk about when we're talking about the individual players and their play style. Is they have that mentality, that winning mentality, to prove to everybody that they're the best. And a lot of these guys are sore losers. I'm sorry, I have to admit it, but being a sore loser and using that energy properly can make you better winners. And that's something that we see, right? Like Sabrosa freaking tweeting mid-game, complaining, or Wardell tweeting mid-game. It shows their ego, but they use this ego to allow them to win. They have a new agent lineup. I call this lineup the sweaty rank lineup. When you're queuing in, you're like a gold 2. This is the type of lineup that you'll see, right? But yeah, we got Wardell on the Jet, Drone back on his Phoenix, which I like a lot. Omen and Hazed, Sabrosa on Reyna or Raze, depending on the map, and Cutler or Clutchler on the Sova. I think this lineup suits up what they need. I think because Hazed and Cutler are on Omen and Sova, which is very important utility in competitive Valorant, it allows the other guys to play duelists and frag out of their minds. And you know what? You can't really sleep on the Phoenix utility. I think it's one of the most underrated utility. Top frag king, TSM Wardell. Anyone who's an Op Academy recruit, you guys know who what Wardell's about, right? This guy is probably one of the best oppers in North America in Valorant. Without a doubt in my mind. Even with the op changes and the op nerfs, Wardell is still posting up numbers that are ridiculous. For TSM, he's the guy that's going to open up a site on attack, and on defense, he will peak with an op to give TSM a 5v4 situation. It's as simple as that. Wardell, that's his main goal for the team. And I mean, also looking at his Blade Storm usage or Jet's ult, he's probably one of the most innovative Blade Storm users in North America and probably in the world. What I've seen from this guy and that ultimate from Jet is busted, and Riot probably has to nerf that ultimate, to be honest. But besides that, let's go into Wardell's stats. Looking at his stats during the UMG closed qualifiers, his total stats, we're looking at 113 kills, 98 deaths, an average damage rating of 140, average combat score of 221, and yeah, these stats are clean. He's almost getting a pick every round in every match, just showing his capabilities with the operator, getting the opening picks, and he's crucial for how TSM wants to play, and this whole idea of TSM being the most adaptable team in the world. Let's talk Sabrosa, or Brosa, or Brosa, Roses, or whatever anyone wants to call him. Some, used to say he cheated in CSGO. His aim was way too robotic. But nah, man. This guy has fantastic aim. His aim's crisp, man. It's as good as Corey's or 10's, but people just don't talk about Sabrosa's aim. I think that's a standout thing for Sabrosa is his headshot percentage. He averages a really good headshot percentage. Sabrosa, I think I saw a tweet that Sabrosa and Drone were both on the top 10 in North American players for headshot percentage going into First Strike. And the one thing about Sabrosa is he's a clutch performer. He comes up big in big games. If you look at Sabrosa against Moon Raccoons during the big qualifying match to qualify to First Strike, he put up 19 kills, 13 deaths, an average damage rating of 174. average combat score of 282, and I think he was on the Reyna during this match. So we can see Sabrosa step up during the big matches, obviously with this stat here. But if we go back to the days of the Ignition series, where he put a standout performance against Sentinels in the Pop Flash finals, there's just, there's always some, he's a clutch performer. Like, if we go back to the Ignition days and see when during the T1 event, the T1 sponsored event, where he played against Sentinels and just put up standout performance against Sentinels, allowing TSM to win. Sabrosa is that guy too. He's maybe not at the levels of Wardell in terms of just consistent top fragging, but when you need him to come big, Sabrosa will come big. His nature is to be individualistic. He takes on the role of Omen or Reyna, Raze, Phoenix, Brimstone. A very adaptable player. He's almost like a glue player for TSM because he gives them the flexibility to change their compositions depending on their opponents, because Sabrosa can be a smoker, he can be the duelist, he can be an entry, he can be a lurker, he can do it all. It makes Sabrosa a really talented player. So yeah, that's basically Sabrosa. Sabrosa does have the clutch gene. So yeah, guys. TSM Drone. Personally, my favorite guy on the team. His rifling skills are ridiculous. And when he's on the Phoenix, I swear to you guys, he's the best Phoenix in the world. I haven't seen a Phoenix player play like Drone has. The way he uses his utility, the timing when he plays Phoenix, just a perfect Phoenix player. And, because he was off the Phoenix during the months of August, September, and October, he's playing more of like a Breach and Silva role, more of a lurking role and initiator role. We've seen him drop in terms of the numbers and stats and performances, but TSM has put him back on the Phoenix because they are using this 3 duelist lineup. I guess trying to use the full capabilities of Drone, Sabrosa, and Wardell because they're very aggressive in nature. But we see his consistency coming back during those close qualifiers and qualifying the First Strike main event. Drone versus FaZe Clan, his total stats against FaZe Clan in the UMG second close qualifiers grand finals, we see him put up 63 kills, 56 deaths, average damage rating of 144, basically a pick around, and average combat score of 236. And I'm glad that Drone is back on the Phoenix because I don't want to say that he's a Phoenix one trick, but his performances are so consistent on Phoenix that you might as well keep him on the Phoenix. And I think this 3 duelist comp, now thinking about it a little more, through this video, I think this 3 duelist comp really fits TSM style of play. But we'll dive deeper into that after we look at the whole roster. So let's take a look at the boomers of this squad. I mean TSM Hayes and TSM Cutler. Probably the most clutch players in the roster, to be honest. I don't care what anyone says. Cutler, if you've watched him and you've watched TSM play, I've seen Cutler clutch 1v2s, 1v3s during post-plant situations on attack or defense, on retakes too. He clutches a lot of rounds. This guy is really good as a support player, and he's the new IGL for TSM. I think he's been IGLing for TSM for almost a month now, and I think it's a good role for him. Before he wasn't the IGL and he was playing, he would play a Cypher or he would play the Killjoy. But now he's on the Sova, more of an information role, using his arrows effectively, making the rotational calls, and doing the dirty work for TSM. I think Cutler does a lot of the dirty work, and he's very underappreciated in the team. Obviously, his stat, because a lot of people, a lot of average fans, are just looking at stats like it's a rank game, and there's more to competitive play. It's about teamwork. It's about keeping everyone level-headed, and I think Cutler is that guy. I think everyone respects Cutler in the roster, and I think he's a good IGL. And because of Cutler being on the IGL duties, we've seen TSM Hayes put up more numbers on the Omen as the smoker. I think Hayes is a really good lurker. They have that vast experience that allows TSM to adapt and this whole idea of TSM being the best adapting team in North America, and that's why they stay in a lot of games. That's why even if they're down 10-3, they come back and win 15-13. We've seen it a lot of times with TSM that they're comeback kings, and it's thanks to these two guys and their coach, Coach Taylor. And Coach Taylor will always tell you, like, I've seen him on Immortal Minds, and then he stated that TSM might not be the best in terms of having a playbook and being strategically and full nuance during executes and defaults, but what they can do is adapt appropriately against any opponent. And that makes TSM so potent, so good at winning games, because they are so quick at adapting. It's something that even 100 Thieves and Sentinels do very well, and that's what makes them very good teams, right? Adaptability makes you a strong team. It also just makes you unpredictable. Because like one moment you see a default, the next moment they're like, screw this default, we're going to change it up because they will beat this opponent. And that's what makes them winners, guys. And thanks to these two guys and their coach, it gives them the vast experience to allow Wardell, Sabrosa, and Drone to frag out. And that's why I think they're on this 3 duelist lineup, because these two guys have Omen and Sova, very important utility for the roster, but because of that utility, the other guys can just, frag out and out-aim opponents. Well, there's questions still remain, right? Like, if a team can neutralize Wardell and Sabrosa, what happens then, right? But that's the thing. If Drone and Hayes are putting up numbers like they did during the UMG closed qualifiers, TSM should be fine, even if Wardell and Sabrosa has quiet games. A lot of people think it's a team that is just Sabrosa and Wardell, but that's not the truth. TSM are a solid roster through and through. I know a lot of people are looking forward to First Strike, and I personally think TSM are going to be a hot favorite. They have too much experience. They've had too many wins in the past during, Valorant tournaments. Their total earnings is $80,000. They've played a lot of events. They have a lot of experience in the game of Valorant. They've been playing since beta, basically. So this team is probably the most experienced team in North America. And they have a lot of doubters, and they want to prove everybody wrong. And I think they also want to prove themselves wrong. I think they know that they're winners, and they want to prove to themselves that they are winners. These guys are sore losers. They're tryhards. They're going to try their utmost to win everything. So I won't be shocked if I see TSM win this all.